Hello everyone, Toughmonkey here. Happy New Year to you wherever you are. Let's hope it's better than that shower last year. So, first YouTube video of the year, and it is a tutorial video. So where are we today? We're doing the X30 warm-up for the CRG B final. We're using the L1 and L2 class of karts. In my case, I'm using the L2 Zanardi. You want to be using the SS long tyres here. In this case, we're using cool tyres, and you want to be using the 98 fuel. So this event is taking place on the Wackersdorf reverse circuit. This is new to us all. We've all been using Wackersdorf forward for a long time, but this is the new orientation for us. So your first job here is going to be to dispatch the AI. As always, they're a pain in the backside. You can give them a love tap up the backside into hairpin bends, but don't go wheel to wheel with them, otherwise you'll be bouncing down the circuit. Your next job on this circuit is going to be to settle yourself down into a rhythm. I've found it's very easy to outbrake yourself, compromise your exit speed, and on this circuit it really does make a difference. You've got to be aware of the track limits on this circuit. There are some areas where if you stick two wheels out onto the grass or onto the curb, you're going to slide off into the barriers. But likewise, there are some areas where you can really lean on the track limits. Get two wheels onto the grass so you can open up your steering, make that corner nice and wide, keep the speed up, keep the revs up. I'll point those areas out to you as we go. So that's the first lap in the bag. Anything under 54 seconds and you're really on it and you know you're on a good run. So as I say, you really want to concentrate on picking your braking points. Too early and you run the risk of clipping the curb. Too late and you're going to tighten up the exit and compromise your speed. Keep the arc of your turn as wide as possible. Approach with two wheels on the white line and leave with two wheels on the white line. On some corners you can just dip your wheels onto the grass, but not too much on this circuit. And be especially wary of those red and white curbs on the outside, those last two especially. Anything more than a wheel's width and you're going to be sliding off into the barriers. And this corner in particular is very difficult to get right. Very easy to put two wheels onto that grass there and slide off into the barrier, and it's a very important corner to get right because it's the longest drag all the way across the start finish line into the first corner. And now that first corner, it tempts you into turning in late, but it actually rewards an early turn in. I don't brake for it, I just feather the throttle and I try to be up to around about 60 miles an hour as I exit the corner. Now let's look at track limits. You can put two wheels onto the white line as you approach into that corner, and you can put more than two wheels onto the grass as you exit the corner. Two wheels onto the curb on the entrance to this one, two wheels just onto the curb on the exit to this one. Be extremely careful with that curb on the right there. Get over to the left, you can dip two wheels onto the grass here if you need to. Avoid the curb on the right, keep at least two wheels onto the track there, and don't go too wide into this corner otherwise you will slip wide. Avoid going onto the grass there. Keep it nice and tight through these remaining corners. Cut two wheels across that curb, two wheels across that curb, and onto the next lap. My biggest tip, as always, is to keep those revs up, and the best way to do that is to make the turns as wide as possible. Turn in with a nice gentle arc, don't lock the brakes up, don't squeal the tyres as you turn, open up the steering, accelerate as smoothly as possibly can. My last tip is probably about your concentration. On these events where we're doing 4, 5, 6 laps, it's very easy to keep your concentration up for the first 3 laps. I mean, you're hardly blinking. But when it gets to lap 4, you suddenly realise, hang on a second, I'm not blinked, my tyres are starting to go off, and as soon as you're starting to think like that, you're not concentrating on the track itself, you're not concentrating on your turning points, you're not concentrating on your braking, and you're no longer concentrating on being smooth. Smooth is fast in this game. As soon as you're hanging the tail out, that's when your time starts to ebb away. The last couple of laps of an endurance event like this are always going to be slower than your first 2 or 3, and it's as much down to your concentration as it is to tyre degradation. If you can keep your concentration up, with these tyres over 5 or 6 laps, I wouldn't expect to be more than 0.5, 0.6 of a second a lap slower on the last lap than I was on my second. And one last tip for you. As you come around these left-handers here, just a slight lift here will set you up nicely and open up the corner into this tight right-hander and get you back on the throttle nice and early there. And there you go, that's 5 laps of the Wackersdorf reverse circuit. If you can do a 53-second lap on your first and be consistently in the 48s on your second, third and fourth, just perhaps creeping into the 49s on your fifth, you should be on for a good time. At the time of making this video, it was the fastest time. That said, Lawrence hasn't had his go yet, so expect it to tumble down the pecking order. But there's still 23 hours left on the clock. I hope I've given you some tips. Remember, I'm always open to questions through instant messaging or through Facebook. Ask me any questions you want. I'm not precious about my settings. I hope I can help you. Happy racing.